But I tend to use these ones just for under my eye because I am getting to be a lady of a certain age. And I don't want a mature woman, shall we say. And I don't want to have too much pulling around my eye, which sometimes brushes can do, especially if you're using a brush and going like this. Hello, and welcome back to Basically Ella. We're coming at you with season 2. We've already had 8 episodes last season, and it's been a whole month since I've been back with you, so I'm quite excited. And this is your first time checking us out. You got to remember that we come at you with step-by-step, in-depth makeup tutorials on how to make yourself look less basic. And then we'll amplify it at the end and show a few extra tips that I do for myself, because obviously drag makeup and girl makeup's a little bit different, tiny bit. Not so much anymore. A lot of people do a lot of crazy shit these days. Stuff. Oops. But today we're going to talk about brushes, because I love brushes. I have a slight obsession with them, so I have a ton. I also don't believe that you need to buy super expensive brushes to make a very intense, flawless feature. You can just use some that you buy from, say, Morphe. They have a great selection for moderately priced brushes. I wouldn't suggest dollar store brushes because they'll fall apart and break. But let's get started because we have a lot of brushes to talk about. First, we're going to start with the face because the face is where we start. And people always think there's just one foundation brush, but we're going to show you 6 different foundation brushes, all do different things for your features. We're going to start with the traditional paddle brush. This one here, since it is dense and a little bit harder bristles here, it is going to pick up the product a lot heavier and it's going to lay the foundation true to its form. So if it's a full coverage foundation, this is going to give you that full coverage finish. It's great for usually drag makeup if you want, or if you have some harder conceal places where you just need that full coverage to it. Great brush. Here it's more of a flatter dome on the top. It's a little bit more dense, but it has a little bit of give to it. So these brushes here are great for liquid foundations, and it's good for just buffing that product into the skin. So you may lose a bit of coverage with your foundation. It'll go down to the full coverage to a slightly higher medium coverage, but it's going to give you more of a natural skin tone finish because you're going to be buffing that product into the skin. Awesome brush. This one here, also the same thing, but since it's a sort of bristle and it's very dense, it's going to buff the product to make it look smoother as well into the skin, but it's going to keep the product looking very full coverage. So it's also good if people have like issues with their wrists, you just keep it simple. But beautiful brush. What's nice too is that it's so dense. A lot of product doesn't seep in there. So the main concern with foundation brushes is that people don't clean them properly, and then bacteria can build because it's a cream product and it goes into the bristle, and then next thing you know, it's not that great. But since this is so dense, you don't really have an issue with that. But once again, another good foundation brush. Keep going. This one here is like a mixture of that paddle brush plus that other buffing brush. So it's gonna still lose a bit of coverage with it, but since it is a dual fiber, it means there is shorter bristles and then there's longer bristles as well. So you're still getting the same circumference on the top there. Base that's touching the skin. I don't know what I'm saying. But it's going to pick up less product because there's less longer bristles, and then those shorter bristles are going to help to buff it out. So once again, this one you'd use like in a soft motions like this. I wouldn't buff like that, just like that paddle brush. I'm going to keep it still pretty true to coverage, but it's just going to make it look a little more softer on the skin. And then this one here is mine. As you can see, it's very dirty, but we're going to go later on how to clean brushes, so we'll figure that out. But once again, another dual fiber brush. Same as the other one, you're going to lose a bit of coverage, but you buff it on. This is the brush that I use all the time on my face because I just love how it just like buffs out the product, makes it look soft. As you can see, it's quite dirty. It's putting foundation on the back of my hand. But we're going to fix that. And then this bad boy here, it's a fluffier brush. It's dense. This one you're going to use with powder foundation. Since this one's going to pick up more product, it's going to sit a little bit better on the skin. It's going to buff on that powder and make it a lot more quicker and efficient for you. I wouldn't use this for a finishing powder because it's going to pick up too much product and then it can make you look cakey. So just you're using foundation powder, put some on, buff it on. I don't want to put that on there anymore, it's dirty. Oopsies. And then yeah, it could just buff it on there really quick. One more product I actually forgot about. Another face brush, the good old sponge. This one's amazing. It's really great. I love the egg-shaped ones. You get a little bit damp so your product doesn't absorb into the sponge. Then you would take that tip part there. It's a little dirty too. Then you can get right up close as you pat in any foundation to give it a little smooth finish to it. And then the bigger side, if you want, you can do the rest of your face. But I tend to use these ones just for under my eye because I am getting to be a lady of a certain age. And I don't want a mature woman, shall we say. And I don't want to have too much pulling around my eye, which sometimes brushes can do, especially if you're using a brush and going like this. It may be really soft, but it can still do a soft bit of pulling. Whereas this is a really soft finish. I like to just pad this so it's not, once again, not pulling on any skin, but it's going to get it where I need it. Little tip out there if you're more mature. All right, I know that was mind-boggling because some people think there's only one foundation brush, and I just showed you 7 different brushes that you can use to put on your foundation. All different things. So now you'd have all your foundation on. You're good to go, you're set, and then usually you're going to set your powder. Another big fluffy brush, but this one, compared to this one, you can see the difference. This one's shorter, so it's denser. The bristles don't move as much, so that's why it's going to be great for putting a higher saturation of your foundation powder. So that's why it's great for that coverage. This one here is very fluffy. Slow down. Sorry, I need to slow down. I just get so excited about brushes. All right, so once again, a very smaller bristle so you can help buff that foundation onto the skin. And then we go to this one, where it has a longer bristle. You can even see it like woggles in the light there. Anyways, this one's going to bring in pick up less product because it's fluffier, and then it's great for just dusting it onto the skin. So it's great for setting your foundation, putting any little bit of powder on just to set your powder. It's fantastic. They're really easy to clean as well because they're, oh look, there's dust. I haven't used this one in a long time. I'm sure you could, I hope you can see that little cloud that popped up. But yeah, beautiful brush, nice and soft, easy dust on your product. All right, and now we have our foundation. We set it all and we move on to the skin, or the cheeks and powder. So I have a few brushes here. I like to use different products for each one because I wash my brushes about, I don't know, every 2 weeks. So if I wash them more frequently, then we can double up. But since I don't want my colors to transfer between brushes, this one's dirty because once again, we'll do a little cleaning with it. So I would like to use this one for contour because once again, it has a little shape on it to fit the contours of your skin. So you can see that right there. So it's going to be great if you take that into your skin and it just fits into the hollows of your cheek. Or if you're doing your hairline, just easily sits there. Contour around, good to go. And then I would like to use a smaller brush for my bronzer. Once again, don't want to transfer colors between brushes, so that's why I use a different one for each one. And then just buff that on, add a little bit of warmth to the skin. Onto the side, as you can see, there's a little bit of contour, bronzer, blush. Need all those 3 all the time. And then the blush brush. There's so many different variations of blush brush, but I will say always get one that has the tapered edges that go into a point, because once again, you can put the product on the top, use the tapered edges to buff it out for you. And it's just really easy to get the blush where you want it. And then all those little tapered edges do the blending for you. You don't want to have a streak of blush. Unless you do, that's fine. But will you get looked at? Probably. And then we move to highlighter. These are 2 different highlighters. This one's going to be more focused, obviously, because it's a little bit of a fan brush, a little bit of a smaller edge. You can just really focus it where you want. If I was using this one, I would probably just use it on my Cupid's bow and maybe just like under my brow, where I like a little bit more highlight on my cheek. As you can see that gorgeous shine, I will use a bigger brush. And it, once again, has that tapered edge. I would place this on the side there. And then, as you can see, it just glides over the top because once again, it's a very flimsy bristle, so it's not going to pick up too much highlight. It's just going to put it lightly dusted onto the cheek. So you're going to get that soft glow and it's easy to build up. So you can add a little bit more if you need to. Whereas say that you had a thick brush like this, you'll put that on, it's probably going to give you like a very strong streak of highlight. And my rule with makeup is that it's easier to add more than take it off. So if you build slowly, then you can get the desired look that you're looking for without freaking yourself out and having to think you have to start over. Sorry, I'm talking fast again. I just get so excited about brushes. All right. I hope you're not bored yet. I hope you're still with me with this tutorial because we have eye brushes now. Because we talked about everything else. Oh wait, let's move the one lip brush down. Eye brushes. I always tell people when they're starting out that you can create any eye look with these 3 brushes. when you're starting a new brush collection, make sure to get a blender, a base paddle brush, and then an angled brush. So this angled brush here, just like any angled brush, it's very tiny. Let's put it in front of my skin so you can see it. There we go. It's very tiny. What's great is that you can use it for liner if you want. You can use it for your eyebrows should you need to. And then when you clean it, just make sure to pinch it back down because sometimes the product will make the bristles spray out and that's when you're not going to get that fine line anymore. So just give it a little squeeze when you're done with it and then you're good to go. And then this paddle brush, once again, like I said, with the foundation brush, how it's a little bit firmer so it picks up product more. Same with this paddle brush, it's more dense and the bristles are usually the same length. So you can pick it up, pick up a lot of color with that, and then you can do a swipe and you're gonna get that deep saturation of the color where you wanna put this. Not the easiest for blending out, but you can if you not deviate. Go back and forth between pressure. Like, alternate, there you go. If you're like putting it heavy on the lid, you're going to have deep color. If you go lightly, it's going to go softer, obviously. But why do all that extra work? That's going to take up time where you can get this beautiful baby here, a blender. This changed my life when I first started doing makeup because all I had was like a little sponge tip applicator, which you'd get from those little quads that you can buy in the store. And then I started buying real brushes. And then once I bought the blender brush, that once again, just like the blush brush, it's tapered, has that little tip on the end. Same with this, tip it on the end, put it where you need to, buff it out. It's a game changer. Once you start using one of these things, your makeup application will be better. Once again, like I said, you don't have to go to an expensive store to buy a $30 blender brush. You can go get more or less expensive brushes, like Morphe. I keep saying Morphe, but that's the only brand I can think of right now. But, and probably because it says it right on the brush there. But buff it out, easy done. Good to go. Let's move those here. And then, same one as I showed the other one, but this one's an even smaller blender brush. It just has a very tinier tip. This is if you want to get more detailed with it. And then it's good to go. If you are at a place where you can get two, I would suggest getting a big one than a smaller one. Because that big one, you can just put it where you need to. And then say that you want it to deepen the crease. The smaller one, since once again, it's going to pick up even less product, it can fit right in there and then create that soft gradient of color. Makes it quicker, makes it easier. Once again, you can do it all with the same brush, but if you don't need to, two's better. And then this one's called a pencil brush. It's fantastic for buffing under the eye. So this is what I would use under my eyelid, under my eye there. Because it's, once again, smaller, fits easier, can buff right in there. Super easy. And then a liner brush. This one is if you want to get this and you do a lot of liner. Once again, like I said, you can do a liner brush with your angle if you needed to. It does a very good job. This one here is just going to be a little bit more of a fine tip. You put your liner on there, line how you need to. Easiest way to clean. Once again, when you're done with it, I would just give it a little squeeze on the end just to make sure that the bristles stay straight. Because nothing's worse when you have a beautiful brush or if you spent like $30 on one and it starts flaying out. You can reshape it, but it's a lot of work. Just do these little steps before to keep it pristine longer. Because if you take care of your brush, they can last forever. So I think I said in the last one, I still have my contour blush from when I started makeup over 10 years ago, and I still use it. And then here's another angle brush. The difference with this one and the other one I showed you is that this one has a spoolie on the end. So this one's specifically made for your eyebrows. You don't have to use it just for your eyebrows if you want, because this angle brush works everywhere. But the spoolie is great. Say if you did your eyebrow and it got heavy, you can just brush it through the hairs at the end, push them in place, and also take the product off of the hair so it looks a little softer. But I think that's it for brushes. Oh no, sorry. My lip brush. You don't have to use a lip brush, you can go right from the tube, but say that you use the majority of your lipstick and you want to get the tiny part in. You can just dip it in there, color in your lips. Easy, done, bam, no big deal. All right, that was a lot of talking with a lot of brushes, but you got it through. Now we're going to do the fun part. We're going to quickly show you how to clean brushes because that's something that gets a lot of people confused as well. First, we're going to take our little bit of water. I'm doing this on a little thing of water here, but it's a lot easier if you do it under a sink with a running tap. So we're going to do the easy one first, actually. So you can use a little cloth. You can use a little paper towel if you want. I'm going to use a little piece of paper towel. I have here a little brush cleanser. It's an antibacterial brush cleaner. You would just spray a bit onto your towel. This is for a quick clean. So say that you just needed to clean your brush, like I used this one this morning for my makeup, a little bit dirty. And then since it has that tapered edges, you can make little circular motions. As you can see, can you see that? Oh yeah. It's quickly taking the product off to the brush. And then just do that. Does that work better there? There you go. So you just quickly circle it, and as you can see, it's slowly going to start taking away. And then when I'm done with it, I will take the edge of the napkin to pull off any extra product. You don't have to rinse this off. These products just dry on their own. They're fantastic. And then you always want to lay your products flat. So what I like to do is taking a little towel, I'm going to fold the end part. I don't know why I chose black. You can't even see that. But you can see I fold the end so there's a little bit of a higher lip on this side. And I'm going to lay it flat. And then, yeah, you can see that. And I'm going to take this product, lay the bristle down this way with this up here. And the reason why we're doing that is because if, say that you got this wet and you put it back into your container, any of that water that's going to be here is going to drip down into your ferrule, and it's going to loosen up the glue that's in here. So then you're just going to ruin your brush. So then a lot of people with that little flimsy top, a lot of times it could be because the water in there loosened the glue. Your brush is eventually going to get ruined. So yeah, so make sure to lay it flat. Little angle down, which is I like to do with the cloth, and it's good to go. But once again, this was a quick cleanse, so you can just do that with anything. And then I'm just going to show you with one more. Add a little bit more. This is a paddle brush. Once again, used it this morning. But since it's a paddle, I'm not going to do little circular motions with that because that's going to make the bristles fray, and we don't want to do that. So I'm going to go just back and forth. Just quick and easy, back and forth. Da-da-da. And since I only used it once, it's really easy to clean. Normally, my brushes would have been used for a few weeks. It would have been a lot more intense. Good to go there. See, easy, awesome. Okay, now the fun part. So you have a brush like this. We're going to get in a little bit of water. Say that you had a little bit of running tap. That'd be easier. And then I have some liquid soap here. My container looked disgusting, so I put it in a shot glass. I feel like that was a little more classy, right? So I'm just going to take a little bit of it. And then use the top of your hand, and then you're just going to wash it in there. Just get it right in there. Don't need to be clean. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but the water is progressively getting more, our soap's getting more brown. Now you're going to want, if you do foundation, you wear foundation every day, you're going to want to do this minimally once every 2 weeks. Because once again, like I said, bacteria builds within this because it's a cream product and you're letting it sit there and then it's touching your skin. And then say that all of a sudden you're getting a lot of acne. I'm not saying that this is going to cure your acne, but a lot of times, sometimes people's acne keeps progressing because they're using a dirty brush and just putting that bacteria back on. Anyway, so I put in the water. I need to get that off my hand. Once again, if this was a running sink, that would be a lot easier. So what we're going to do as well, just dip it in there and then take your finger. Can you see that there? And I'm using the between my palm and I'm pushing out the product. And then you're going to do that until the water comes clear. You may have to do the soap. Ooh. This is not easy in this little part here. You might have to do it again with a little bit more soap. And just keep doing this over and over again until it comes clean. As you can see, that one's coming pretty clean now. Oh my God. It's probably good that I'm doing this because it's been a very long time since I've cleaned this brush. I clean a lot of my brushes quickly with this thing because it's quick and it's simple and it gets to build up out really quickly. But with a foundation brush, sometimes getting that product that's deep in there, that's the part that's hard to get. So you want to do this intense clean like this. And then, if I had an extra towel, I just have the paper towel here. Once again, I would just take the cloth, push it forward, because I want it to stay in this shape. And then I'm going to put it down on the counter, like that. So that it lays forward, once again, so the water doesn't seep into the ferrule, loosens up the glue, because we want to keep it nice and clean. And then you would just sit like that until it dries, which is usually about 24 hours. You can do that with your other brushes. I'm going to have a disgusting habit. I'm not going to do that with this one because I'm that person that likes to build up a blush because it just adds like all that different color on there and I just love it. So I'll just do a quick clean with this one just to get whatever's clean on the top, but then I'll just keep it how it is. But once again, don't do that with cream brushes. You need to clean those. We need to make them sanitary and keep your face clean. I think that's it. We talked about brushes, we talked about this. Hopefully you were intrigued because that was a lot of talking and not a lot of technique and talent other than telling you about different brushes. Because I forget to talk about brushes sometimes because brushes are important. You get some people saying that you don't have to have a brush to do anything. It's true, you don't. You can do all these looks on your own. These brushes just make things easier. And once again, they don't have to be super high quality brushes. Synthetic brushes are making a huge wave right now. One, because they're ethical. Other natural hair fibers, they say they're ethical, but who knows, right? You can't really tell. But just keep your brushes clean, do what you need to do, and then you're going to be good to go. You're going to have a beautiful face. You're going to look as stunning as I do one day. Just need 3 more seasons and then on your way. But thank you for checking out Basically Ella.